I'm dumbfounded. WWE, what are y'all doing? Wow. Just wow. So, breaking news. WWE have made some more releases of talent. This time, it's Tegan Knox, Drake Maverick, Shane Thorne, Jaxson Ryker, John Morrison, and the rest of Hit Row, which is Top Dollar, Ashante the Adonis, and Isaiah Swerve Scott. The reason? Budget cuts. Well, I just feel that more and more, this is just more and more evidence that WWE is looking to sell. I'm just more and more convinced that that's what's going to end up happening. They are preparing to sell WWE. Like I don't see how it could be anything else. I don't see it. I don't see how it could be anything else. Let's go over these. Tegan Nox. Tegan Nox, an excellent wrestler. I know she's had an injury history, but when she performs, she's excellent. I mean, they've had her on the main roster. She was in a tag team with Shotzi Blackheart. They were doing well, and you would think they were going to get a tag title shot. Never happened. And then they split them up. Shotzi's on SmackDown. Tegan did get drafted to Raw, but we hadn't seen her once since the draft. Not once. And it just sucks because, with her being on the main roster, 90-day non-compete clause. Tegan Knox, who at one point was initially booked to win, I believe, the second Mae Young Classic. I think it was either the second or the first one that she was originally booked to win. But then she got hurt. Just a phenomenal athlete and still very young. I mean, I was really worried for her because, she tore her ACL 3 times. I think 2 in one leg and 1 in the other. So, I mean, she's been through a lot, but she's been able to come back every time. And she was pretty healthy on this recent comeback for her to be brought to the main roster and then just bam. She's cut. She's released. I don't get it. She was in the tag team with Shotzi. They were winning. Never got a women's tag title shot. Jaxson Ryker. I mean, I think the last feud that he really had was he was feuding with Elias. But then we haven't seen Elias since his vignettes of him burying his guitar, and which I would have thought would be a change of character. And then we see Jaxson Ryker in the group chasing after the 24/7 title. So they just have nothing more for him, and then just bam, somebody who's also a North Carolinian wrestler, but just yeah, after that feud with him and Elias was over, after they split, that pretty much was it. I think he got squashed by Karrion Kross, if I remember correctly, but only other times you've seen him is in the group chasing after the 24/7 championship. Drake Maverick. Wow, so this is the second time Drake Maverick has been released. Now, of course, the first time they had this angle where even after losing his final match, Triple H gave him a new contract. So this is the second time been released. Once again, I know he's, supposedly the comedy relief type of guy, but still, Drake Maverick is still a dang on good wrestler and still go in the ring, very much so. But what did they have him doing? I mean, they have him chasing after the 24/7 championship. And I think the only other thing that he was doing before that was he was in a tag team with Killian Dane. And then even before that, he was managing AOP, the Authors of Pain. So, I just really feel for Drake Maverick. Never got a Cruiserweight Championship run or anything like that. I mean, honestly, it would have been nice to see him on NXT UK. But that didn't happen. But, I just feel like his best work was from Impact Wrestling when he was Rockstar Spud. He was involved quite a lot. So it's just a bummer that this is what it had to come down to with Drake Maverick. Shane Thorne. This one doesn't surprise me too much. I mean, ever since the demise of Retribution, you really haven't seen him. You haven't seen him. I think his Retribution name was Slapjack, if I remember correctly. But, I mean, I guess they never really had anything else for him post-Retribution. So, I mean, this one doesn't surprise me too much, but at the same time, it's never fun seeing somebody get fired or get released or cut or anything like that. You have John Morrison. Wow, this one shocked the mess out of me. John Morrison, who even in his 40s, which I believe he's 42 or 43, can still go in the ring like he's in his prime. Still in excellent shape. And I'm sure, like a lot of other fans, we're looking forward to him reigniting his feud with The Miz. After everything went downhill between the two, and then The Miz went off to do Dancing with the Stars. But no, they just had him sit backstage doing this like chanting sort of like Zen type of stuff. They didn't have him in matches. They didn't have him in like number one contender matches or like anything like that. Didn't have him in King of the Ring or anything like that. Like, John Morrison, multiple time Intercontinental Champion, Tag Team Champion, has won titles in Impact Wrestling, Lucha Underground. He's wrestled a lot in Mexico. Like, what the heck? This dude's an excellent athlete. He did all the parkour, which WWE even showcased quite a bit. And the dude is still, like, still can go. Still can go ever since he was, like, Johnny Nitro. Could still go to this day. Then they let him go. I mean, part of me wonders. I mean, after they let go of Frankie Monet, aka Taya Valkyrie, that he was probably going to be next. I mean, after all, you see the trend. You know, they did the same thing with Karrion Kross and Scarlett. So, I mean, you know, the trend is there, it seems. But just John Morrison, I mean, an excellent wrestler, still in great shape, can still give you a 5-star match, can still give you those 20, 30-minute matches. Because I was still hopeful for the longest time to see folks like him and Shelton Benjamin in the main event picture going for the main title, which they clearly deserve to be in those positions. And now it's never going to happen. And then you have Top Dolla, Ashante the Adonis, and Isaiah Swerve Scott. The rest of Hit Row, they cut. After they just got on SmackDown. Just cut them. First it was B-Fab. We thought it was just B-Fab, which you cut her after she signed her contract. It's like come on. When you gotta do business like that, like, it really is a bad look on the company. You know, I just signed my contract believing that I'm getting ready to work for you. I just signed my contract. We come to an agreement. I just signed my contract. And then just out of nowhere, not long afterwards, not even like a week or 2 weeks, and you terminate me. Wow. It looks bad. It really looks bad. Hit Row just got to the main roster. The whole group drafted to SmackDown. They had maybe one, maybe 2 appearances, and then bam, they're out, cut, gone. I mean, Top Dollar, was still kind of green, but I had a feeling that he was gonna work his way up. Shanti the Adonis, I thought he was all right. Could be better, but he was all right. And then Swerve, Swerve, aka Shane Strickland, aka Killshot. The dude is a phenomenal athlete. Very popular in the indies. He's been in Lucha Underground. He was excellent in Evolve. Like, Swerve, Shane Strickland, phenomenal wrestler. And like I said, one of the things that was going well with Hit Row, merchandise, t-shirts were selling out, selling out, selling out. And now they're all gone. All 4 members are gone. Oh no, it didn't just stop with B-Fab. They ended up getting rid of all 4. It is crazy. I can only imagine what the folks at 2K Games are thinking, being that they're working on the WWE 2K22 game, which is supposed to be releasing in March of 2022. But if WWE keeps making cuts and releases, they have to keep going back and changing out that code and changing out the roster and stripping everything and redoing everything. And the funny thing was they just released a new trailer. showcasing, a few of the features and whatnot of WWE 2K22. It's like, dang, I'm not. Part of me even wonders what the final roster is going to look like when the game goes gold, if it does go gold. Honestly, if you ask me, it wouldn't surprise me if they were like, you know what, screw this. We might as well just cancel the game. Wouldn't surprise me. Or if it got super duper delayed. Because WWE keeps making cuts. Keep making cuts. So, I don't get it. I really don't get this company. They're getting mad profits and such. They've posted, revenue gains, but yet they're turning around and making these budget cut releases, especially with some of them they just, brought back or brought up to the main roster or signed, like BFAB signed her contract. It makes no sense to me. It really makes no sense. So, I mean, now the next question is where could all this talent go? And like I said, all this talent were on the main roster. So that means they all have 90-day non-compete clauses. Where do I think they would fit best? Jaxson Ryker, I mean, he has experience in Impact. He was Gunner at Impact. He was a tag team champion. Honestly, Jaxson Ryker, aka Gunner, could go back to Impact Wrestling. Maybe NWA. I could see him on NWA. AEW, nah, probably not. But yeah, I would say Impact or NWA, I think would be good fits for Jaxson Ryker. Drake Maverick. Drake Maverick is interesting. Like, Impact, of course, you could always go back as Rockstar Spud. I don't see where they could fit him in as far as AEW, to be honest. I mean, honestly, probably a return to Impact and have him in a great position to compete for the X Division. I think that's probably the best bet for Drake Maverick, aka Rockstar Spud. For Shane Thorne, uh, I could see him in New Japan Pro Wrestling. I think New Japan Pro Wrestling or Impact Wrestling. I could see Shane Thorne in New Japan or Impact Wrestling. Get him on NJPW Strong. I could see that. Maybe MLW, perhaps. Because I mean, Shane Thorne's a good wrestler. He's a pretty good wrestler. So, but let's see. Tegan Knox. Now, Tegan Knox, this is an interesting situation for her. Where could she go to? Personally, I mean, she's a phenomenal wrestler, so she could really go anywhere. I think it would be interesting to see her in Japan. I would love to see her in Japan. And I think a good starting spot for her in Japan, Stardom. I could see her in Stardom. I could see her in Stardom as a unaffiliated Or maybe perhaps Queen's Quest. You know, Queen's Quest is kind of low in their faction. You know what I mean? I mean, they already have Momo, they have Momo, Utami, Azumi, and Saya. I mean, Hina's not really there currently. I think she's back to focusing on school. So I mean, Queen's Quest is kind of low. So I mean, hey, especially if the idea is Momo might go to Oedo Tai, then you know Queen's Quest is going to be kind of low, and especially if Lady C never goes into Queen's Quest, then I mean that faction is going to be kind of low on numbers. So I mean, hey, I think Tegan Knox. If B Priestley can wrestle in Stardom, if Viper, aka Piper Niven, Kaylee Ray, Santana Garrett, if they can all go to Stardom and have some success, I think Tegan Knox could be a good fit for her. Or Stardom could be a good fit for Tegan Knox. But realistically, Stardom, Impact, NWA, AEW, I mean, she could fit well in any of those promotions. I mean, she's a phenomenal wrestler. And, you know, I mean, she's done a lot of stuff in Europe as well, promotions in Europe. I mean, Tegan Knox, some may know her as Nixon Newell, but she's a great talent. I think she could be successful anywhere. I mean, it's a bummer that she never had a championship in WWE, but I really, really would love to see her. Personally, I would love to see her in Stardom. I would love to see her in Stardom. And hey, she could be a good candidate to go for the SWA championship or even the Wonder of Stardom championship at first. You know? Why not? I would love to see Tegan Knox in Japan. I do. I would love to see her in Japan. I think she would be great. John Morrison. I mean, like I said, even in his 40s, he's still in excellent shape and can still go and give you main event level matches. So, I mean, it's been successful in Impact. I mean, MLW could be a thing. Shoot, AEW would be crazy. If John Morrison went to AEW, oh man. Oh, that would be huge. John Morrison and AEW, which I'm pretty sure he would probably go by either Johnny Impact or Johnny Mundo. But I think he would be excellent in AEW. I mean, going up against the likes of like Kenny Omega, Sammy Guevara, John Moxley. I mean, anybody there. MJF. Like, that would be crazy. I mean, the Lucha Bros, I mean, you know, he's wrestled in, what you call it, Lucha Underground, so he's familiar with the Lucha Bros. You know? Shoo. Having both him and Taya Valkyrie in AEW could work. That could definitely work. Could be like another Penelope Ford, Kip Sabian type thing, but better. You know, which, dang, there's no telling when Kip Sabian's going to return. Because it's been a hot minute. But I think John Morrison would excel there. Or who knows? Maybe New Japan Pro Wrestling. I think John Morrison could probably do a little something something in New Japan Pro Wrestling. I don't see why not. I don't see why not. Shoot, if Buddy Matthews, aka Buddy Murphy, can have the type of match that he had with Okada, John Morrison most definitely could hang with the likes of Okada and a Hiroki Goto and a Will Ospreay and Evil and many others. Me personally, I would love to see Kenny Omega versus John Morrison. I think that would be awesome. But I mean, the sky's the limit for John Morrison. I mean, he's an excellent athlete. He's won titles in different promotions. I mean, he's traveled around. I mean, John Morrison, I mean, he's a winner. Anywhere he goes, he's a winner. So, and then you have Hit Row. I mean, Shane Strickland, Swerve. I mean, well, let me start with the other two. Top Dolla, Ashante the Adonis. You know, it'd be interesting if they wanted to do something similar. Maybe you pair them with the Acclaim, and they could make the Acclaim a faction. Not just a tag team, but a faction in AEW. Maybe that's something, but probably not doable, because I mean, I'm sure they're gonna want to sign, you know, the best type of available talent. But I mean, it's a thought. That's really all I could really see them. Top Dollar and Ashante the Adonis specifically. Other than that, I really don't know. I really don't know. But Swerve, Isaiah Swerve Scott, Shane Strickland, like, he could go anywhere. I was thinking Impact Wrestling might not be a bad idea. AEW would be great, but I don't know if they would be able to fit him. I don't know if they would have enough room to fit him. I mean, they just signed Jay Lethal. So, yeah, I don't think they would be able to fit him. Japan. Japan's another place I would love to see Swerve compete. I would love to see him compete there. But really, Swerve is another one like John Morrison. I feel like he could go anywhere and be successful. So, yeah. I mean, those are really my thoughts on where I feel like this batch of released talent could go once their 90-day non-compete clause ends. But man, this is just these were surprising cuts, especially John Morrison and Hit Row and Tegan Nox. Those are probably the ones that surprised the mess out of me the most. So we'll have to see what happens. You know, I didn't think this wouldn't be over, or I didn't think that this would be over. So I mean, there's probably more on the way, because I really seriously think that they're getting closer and closer to selling the company. I truly believe that. It's only a matter of time. They may make it through the end of this year, but next year, I think it's a wrap. I think it's a wrap. So, we'll see what happens. But let me know what y'all's thoughts are on these releases, you know, from WWE. Just to rename them: John Morrison, Drake Maverick, Tegan Knox, Shane Thorne, Jaxson Ryker, and the remaining members of Hit Row, which is Top Dollar, Ashante the Adonis, Isaiah Swerve Scott. Let me know what y'all's thoughts are on these releases. Do they surprise you? Where do you think they should go? Where do you think they would be a best fit at? going forward. But like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you catch every video. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Blitzball Champ, bringing you another pro wrestling talk brought to you by Blitzball Champ Gaming. Hope everybody has a blessed weekend, and I will see y'all soon. Peace.